This is commentary on Workbook Lesson 126 in the Workbook for A Course in Miracles. All that I give is given to myself. This is a really important lesson and will help us understand forgiveness a little better and also to make us more willing to practice true forgiveness. When the Course says that separation never happened, that love, reality, God, whatever we want to call it, our true self of love, has never changed and it still exists and it's the only thing that exists, the next logical question should be in our minds, well, if that's the case, why does this appear to be the case? Why does this world appear to be as it is? And this lesson covers that, and it's talking about a couple of things. One is that everyone is always a mirror of ourselves, that how we see them, we will see ourselves, and it's explicitly addressing the dynamic of projection. If we want to, if this true self of love is what we are and it's still there, and then if there's the appearance of something else, it must be because we want that to be the case. And if we want that to be the case, then we have to do something to make that seem real. And the way that we do it is talked about in this lesson. We project uh, an ego onto someone else, a body onto someone else, and that's how we maintain our view of ourselves as an ego and a body. And what forgiveness does is recognize the joining of minds, that minds are ones, that what I give to another is what I give to myself. So it's very crucial to understand that in our learning how to forgive. So let's go through this. All that I give is given to myself. Today's idea, completely alien to the ego and the thinking of the world, is crucial to the thought reversal that this course will bring about. If you believe this statement, there would be no problem in complete forgiveness, certainty of goal, and sure direction. You would understand the means by which salvation comes to you and would not hesitate to use it now. Let us consider what you do believe in place of this idea. Let me pull up something from chapter 26 that covers this in a more object-orientated way or physical way. It says, the world you see is based on sacrifice of oneness. It's a picture of complete disunity and total lack of joining. Around each entity is built a wall. Now he's referring to all the bodies that we see. Around each entity is built a wall so seeming solid that it looks as if what is inside can never reach without, and what is out can never reach and join with what is locked away within the wall. Each part, each ego part, must sacrifice the other part to keep itself complete. So it's this sacrifice of oneness that we need to do in our minds, or apparent sacrifice of oneness, to keep our ego identity and body identity intact. So each part must sacrifice the other to keep itself complete. For if they joined, each one would lose its own identity, and by their separation are their selves maintained. And so this joining is accomplished through forgiveness, and our resistance to forgiveness is really a resistance to not wanting to lose our identity as an ego. Okay, so let's get back to the lesson. Let's consider what you do believe in place of this idea, of all that I give to myself. It seems to you that other people are apart from you and able to behave in ways which have no bearing on your thoughts, nor yours on theirs. Therefore, your attitudes have no effect on them, and their appeals for help are not in any way related to your own. You further think that they can sin without affecting your perception of yourself, while you can judge their sin and yet remain apart from condemnation and at peace. When you forgive a sin, there is no gain to you directly. You give charity to one unworthy, merely to point out that you're better and on a higher plane than he whom you forgive. And so it's also makes the separation real, because it makes you different than them in the way this is how the ego uses forgiveness. It says you give charity to one unworthy merely to point out that you're better and on a higher plane than he whom you forgive. He has not earned your charitable tolerance, which you bestow on one unworthy of the gift, because his sins have lowered him beneath a true equality with you. He has no claim on your forgiveness. It holds out a gift to him, but hardly to yourself. Thus, is forgiveness basically unsound, a charitable whim, benevolent yet undeserved, a gift bestowed at times, at other times withheld? Unmerited, withholding it is just, nor is it fair that you should suffer when it is withheld. The sin that you forgive is not your own. Someone apart from you committed it. And if you then are gracious unto him, by giving him what he does not deserve, the gift is no more yours than was his sin. And so the sin here means, this is their sin, is the way that we see others as lacking. However we see them as incomplete, as losers, as not being this or not being that, that's what it means by sin, because you're not seeing them as the whole true self of love. Okay, so and if you so the sin that you forgive is not your own. In other words, it's, when you see this in someone else, how they lack, that's not about you. That's what it's saying. Someone apart from you committed it. And if you then are gracious unto him by giving him what he does not deserve, the gift is no more yours than was his sin. If this be true, forgiveness has no grounds on which to rest dependably and sure. It is an eccentricity in which you sometimes choose to give indulgently an undeserved reprieve. Yet it remains your right to let the sinner not escape the justified repayment for his sin. Think you the Lord of heaven would allow the world's salvation to depend on this? Would not his care for you be small indeed if your salvation rested on a whim? You do not understand forgiveness. As you see it, it is but a check upon overt attack without requiring correction in your own mind. In other words, we come to forgiveness and say, well, I shouldn't attack them. I shouldn't see them. I shouldn't see them in this way. But it's saying, as you see it, it's just a check upon overt attack without requiring correction in your mind. It cannot give you peace as you perceive it. It is not a means for your release from what you see in someone other than yourself. It has no power to restore your unity with him to your awareness. It is not what God intended it to be for you. So that's how the ego sees forgiveness. It's just a check on its overt attack on someone. It has nothing to do with correcting my mind. Okay. So not having given him the gift he asks of you, you cannot recognize his gifts and thinks he has not given them to you. Yet would he ask you for a gift, and this gift is, he's asking us to give this gift of forgiveness. Would he ask you for a gift unless it was for you? Could he be satisfied with empty gestures and evaluate such petty gifts as worthy of his son? Salvation is a better gift than this, and true forgiveness as the means by which it is attained must heal the mind that gives, for giving is receiving. What remains as unreceived has not been given, but what has been given must have been received. Today we try to understand the truth that giver and receiver are the same. You will need help to make this meaningful because it is so alien to the thoughts to which you are accustomed. But the help you need is there. Give him your faith today and ask him that he share your practicing in truth today. And if you only catch a tiny glimpse of the release that lies in the idea we practice for today, this is a day of glory for the world. So it's just showing us how very important it is for us to understand this idea, not just for us, but for everybody. So here's the practice. Give 15 minutes twice today to the attempt to understand today's idea. It is the thought by which forgiveness takes its proper place in your priorities. It is the thought that will release your mind from every bar to what forgiveness means and let you realize its worth to you. So in silence, close your eyes upon the world. So this is what we do. In silence, we close our eyes upon the world that does not understand forgiveness and seek sanctuary in a quiet place where thoughts are changed and false beliefs led by. So this is what we've been training ourselves to do, is to go inward, to go to this quiet place, a sanctuary inside of us. And this is the place where our ideas about forgiveness, about giving and receiving will change. There's a place inside of us where those thoughts and beliefs can change. So we repeat today's idea and we ask for help in understanding what it really means. Be willing to Be glad to hear the voice of truth and healing speak to you, and you will recognize the words he speaks and recognize he speaks your words to you. So here's our attitudes. We repeat the idea and ask for help and understanding. And our attitudes are we want to be willing to be taught, and we want to be glad, joyful that we can hear this voice of truth and healing speak to us. And then we'll have understanding, and we'll understand that his word is our word. This is our belief that we want. This is the truth that is our truth. Okay, so that's the practice. I'm going to do that twice a day. What did it say? Yeah, give 15 minutes twice today on that practice. And so then throughout the day, as often as you can, remind yourself you have a goal today, an aim which makes this day of special value to yourself and all your brothers. Do not let your mind forget this goal for long, but tell yourself, all that I give is given to myself. The help I need to learn that this is true is with me now, and I will trust in him. So we want to take this practice and remind ourselves of our true goal. And the way that we'll do that is repeat the lesson. All that I give is given to myself. The help I need to learn that this is true is with me now, and I will trust in him. And then we spend a quiet moment opening your mind to his correction and his love, and what you hear of him you will believe, and what he gives will be received by you. So we want to try and do this as often as we can during the day, and especially do these 15-minute practices once in the morning and once in the evening. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.